am intense. I need to be able to sit down and breathe for a minute. It's okay. So I'm not even going to prolong this. Is he out there? Would you please welcome the star of Magazine Dreams, Mr. Johnathan Major. Johnathan, this was one of the wildest rides I have ever been on. When I didn't think you could top it, it was even more emotional roller coasters I was on. Can you tell me what attracted you when you got this script? What attracted you to Magazine Dreams?
I felt like the picture, and Keelan specifically, told a lot of secrets. What I mean by that, it told the story of someone that was extremely marginalized, but even his margins were marginalized. He was in a world where he could not be seen, though he spoke, he could not be heard. What it like to play an invisible mute who's massive and has a voice. That's not really good for obstacles. And the greater the obstacle, the greater the opportunity to work through it. And working through that, you kind of learn more about humanity. So that was a big part of it. It also just seemed impossible, you know. At the time, I was probably 30 pounds lighter. 30 pounds lighter. And I thought, that's gonna be tough. So let's do it.
When you first read Killian, about what was your initial reaction when you read about this young man?
I just really loved him. When I read it, I love this man. And I want to protect him. I want to embody the beauty of him that I can see. And you know, when a film goes up like that, like it's up for grabs. And yet it was an offer, but there is a moment where, as an actor, you think, if I don't do this, who else will do this? You know, and somebody would have, you know, but for me, I didn't want to give that up. I didn't want to give him up. In the script, everyone else had. And I wanted to bring him home.
You know, you say, if I didn't do it, you know, who would? I'm literally, I can't think of anybody but Johnathan Majors who could bring this man to life. Just, I'm kind of jumping around, but the emotions that you had where you took us, it was this beast and it was this tender person who loved his grandfather. What people saw on the outside versus what was on the inside. The moment you went on a date, and I know there's a little bit of the spectrum in this young man. And it was very touching because kids on the spectrum, adults on the spectrum, they tend to be all about themselves. And you know, having these emotions, where did you have to pull from to get to Killian, the heart of who Killian was?
To me,
we need that
yes,
voice.
Yes, ma'am.
You gonna keep calling me ma'am?
God, to me, he was superhuman in a way, right?
Yeah.
And those qualities of, I guess when it comes down to it, I played him like he was a little boy. I played him like he was completely innocent. And that even the things he did, he understood what he was trying to express. He just couldn't put it together quite yet. You know, and I say yet because there's such a drive for him to do right. He just doesn't have the tools. And if you sit there as a 9-year-old, which is what I had on my spirit, I had this is gonna get a little artsy, but when I imagined him as a little 9-year-old angel with these wings, and he had these tears coming down his eyes the whole time. And he was just flying around this town that he was in, looking for a place to land. And that we all just felt, that's the need, right? And he's running out of gas. There's a line where he says, I'm tired. I'm just tired. And that was never on fire. Based off kind of that imagery, when a young boy or anybody is sitting across from something that they absolutely need, but they don't have the tools. That's what emotion is. It's frustration. That's something I understand, right? It's a frustration. You want something on the outside to be different than it is on the inside. And you can't do that. And the higher that frustration, more I'm kind of talking to actors, but it's also what we do as people. That's when you emote. That's when emotion comes. What up, Wayne? I see you boys. It's been a long time. Love you, pal. Me and this kid were always on the whole squad. I can't, Jerry. I can't do the whole thing. You know, I thought that was you. But that's like the whole history lane back there. So I'm doing this acting chat, right? Doing acting chat, right? So that's what emotions are. You love your child so much, you want to eat them, okay? But you can't. And so you weep. You know what I mean? You wish you could just meld into your partner, but you can't. You physically can't do that. So you weep. You know? And he wanted things so bad. He wanted to connect with that young lady so bad. So he went. He just had a big need. Like all kids. He needed everything. He needed shelter. He needed protection. He needed validation. It's just psychology. This man knows hierarchy of needs. Right? He needed all of these things and was absent of all of them. But yet was always in the arena where he could get it. That's gotta be frustrating.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel trapped? Did you, in this character? I want you to briefly describe Magazine Dreams for the audience.
Okay.
So briefly describe that, and then when we first come into contact with Killian, where is he at? Where is he headed? Is yours working?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So Magazine Dreams. Oh.
There's a lot. Oh, here it is.
Anything I can do? Anything I can do?
This works for you. So in a nutshell, Magazine Dreams is about a man who is trying to achieve his ultimate goal. His personal ultimate goal, which is to achieve status within the bodybuilding
I
world.
want you to take this.
Yes,
I'll
ma'am.
take that.
We've done this 3 times now. We're getting good at this. Yeah. That's trying to make his way into the bodybuilding world and become a pro. And ultimately, his super objective, right, is to gain validation for himself and to the world by finding himself on the cover of one of these magazine dreams. He's doing all this while trying to process trauma that he knows and trauma that he doesn't know. He's constantly trying to connect. And in doing so, he finds himself going through many trials and tribulations while trying to achieve that objective.
I've never been into the world of bodybuilding, only what I've seen in magazines, what I've seen, what my son has shown me on TV, because he's into WWE, the bodybuilding. So is Killian. So is Killian. It was just amazing. And this whole world of bodybuilding, first of all, how did you even prepare for this role? What kind of training did you go
Right.
through?
So the cool part about this picture, his character, was that it was the first time that a lot of, I view everything as philosophy, and a lot of that philosophy is that the mind and the body go together. Like there is no difference, right? Especially when you come to this idea of trauma or emotion, you can't separate them. And so the really cool part about this preparation is that it was all rehearsal, right? I had to learn how to be a bodybuilder. And you get to a point where your civilian body or your actor body, right, is like, yo, I'm done. You know what I mean? And I'm an athlete. I will say I'm a sportsman. My little cousin probably doesn't think I'm a sportsman anymore. We were wrestling in the back. And I think at 19 years old, he made it to beat me. But I'm still a sportsman. So the eating, right, so we just talk numbers, right? It's like gaining 30 to 35 pounds. Of muscle mass in probably 18 months. That's a long time. But I could use more time because it was hard. You know what I mean? Especially trying to do a natty, right? Natty for you, for everybody that's in the world of bodybuilding, you understand that means like you're a natural bodybuilder, right? So that was saline. That was in the test shot. Yeah. And that's something I would talk about, with other actors, I'm like, should I, shouldn't I, because I want to be down, and that's, but I didn't, sorry, I want to have more kids. Not saying that you didn't, but anyways, the training became a rehearsal, right, because you get to a point where the body wants to quit, but then that's when you step into the bodybuilder mindset. The bodybuilder mindset is about adaptation. And that the more you live, the more yes, there is pain, but the more you experience that, the more you're forcing your body into adaptation. And so the more I began to push myself and push my body, all of a sudden I would look in the mirror and go, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? And not in a way of like, oh, look at me, I'm getting bigger. It was like, oh, I can see Killian coming. And then there comes moments when you're on that squat bench, and you're pushing an ungodly amount of weight, and my trainer is slapping me in the chest. Come on, Jay, come on, Jay, come on, Jay. And I'm just like in the movie, right? But there's no cameras up. It's just me and him in the gym in West Hollywood, at 2 o'clock in the morning. We go, boom, that's it. So you get to experience those things. That was a big part of marrying the mind and body and the spirit, as far as preparation. And the food, it was kind of funny, you just walk around in a circle some days, it's like shoving rice and chicken in your mouth. And this is miserable. This absolutely sucks. But these are the given circumstances of character. This is what he would have done. So I got closer and closer and closer to him in that way.
When you were,
Does that make sense?
it does didn't make sense to you, makes sense. But tapping into the emotions, like when you were on stage, it was important for you to smile, but you seemed to be in so much pain. You were desperate to be loved. There was a desperation throughout this movie to be seen, to be loved. It was so many different emotions that you had to tap into at any given time.
That's right.
How did you tap into all that? When you were standing there, you had to, when they said relax, you never did.
Oh, yeah.
It was never a relaxed stance. And you couldn't smile. That was an emotion. Going on the date and them coming back and telling you she left.
Yeah, that's hard.
That was an emotion. How did you tap into all of those specific emotions and they were gut-wrenching, those emotions? Where'd you have to go?
Well, you go everywhere. There are times when I'm working, and relaxation is key, right? Because without relaxation of the instrument, the character can't go there. Right? I devoted myself to him, and whatever he needed to feel, whatever he needed to express, I was hoping to do that for him. So I gave him all of my history. I gave him all of my hurt. I gave him all of my joy, all of my needs. I know what it feels like to want to win by any means necessary.
Yeah.
There was times that I would meet I would cut off my foot if something tried to stop me from getting to this audition. You know, to stop me from rehearsing something. You know, that type of drive, that type of love, you know, that was a big part of it. He was an open heart. And that child metaphor, that 9-year-old angel that's screaming, looking for a place to land, you just kind of look, and it's, I don't want to get too technical, but when you look at something, you see what it can give you. And when I looked over at, Paul, he was my protector. I couldn't let him down. And so he asked me, they can knock me down, knock me down, knock me down. Well, I understand that in my life. It was healing to say it, but it had to hurt first. The love he has for bodybuilding, well, I have that love for acting, And then the need to connect, like, I know exactly what that is like, being a transfer art kid football player and dance in a public school in Texas. Lord have mercy. Like to lean into all of those places where I was awkward, I was unknown, I was in some places felt unlovable, and confused. A lot of what you see up there is him being confused. What is happening? Why is this happening? I'm doing everything right. And he does something where he tells the audience, the last time my director was beautiful at writing that. I'm speaking in a calm voice. I'm going through the checklist. This is what he also believes in meritocracy. And so the frustration of like, I'm doing what you want me to do, but I'm not getting what I want. What's wrong with me? That was a big question. What's wrong with me? I mean, that's where the emotion comes from, I guess.
It was a lot of elements in this movie. There was, with all of the chaos, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
No, with all of the chaos swirling around you, did you notice that Killian was always nicely dressed? Everything was put together. The music that you listen to in the car.
Oh, right.
I don't know what kind of devil music, rock and roll that was. The scoring, the way that it was shot, like it all came together. The bleakness. How did that all work together?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Sherry. It was a great collaboration between myself and Alana, where I'm very forward with my work and with my preparation. There is the invisible work, but it's like, I'm listening to this, like, I began to like that music. The way the music jumps around is very, it parallels the way Killian jumps around, right? You have that hard metal music. And it's like, what is that? The chaos in that is gnarly, right? But it's only distracting to you if you're not feeling that way. But he's feeling that way, and that comforts him. And then you have the beautiful moment that I think is beautiful, when he's in the club and he's playing, and that song plays. And that song, big up to Elijah, was literally the song I played on playback because we hadn't chosen one yet. So I played that song to else and was dancing around to that. And he just agreed with it. Because at that point, we had like a mind meld. We were on the exact same page about everything. He was saying left and I was already there. I was thinking right and the camera was already there. So, I mean, he's just a genius. He's just a genius. Look out. A lot of fun.
When folks go and see Magazine Dreams, what are you hoping that they walk away? What are you hoping that they take away from this film?
I really hope everybody just I try to look at everybody very quickly and answer this question. I really hope everybody takes away the understanding of the superpower we all have as human beings, right? The healing power we all have as as human beings, just to connect. Like, it is day and night if you don't connect. Here's an anecdote for you. So there was an experiment that was done with a bunch of children, babies, newborns. Maybe some of you heard of this. And they were in a nursery. And they were fed, they would feed them, they would change their clothes. But this particular group of children were not allowed any touch. No eye contact. You couldn't look at them, you couldn't cradle them, you could just feed them and clean them. Needless to say, this experiment ended because 2 weeks into this process, they were losing children. Because children need touch, they need connection, they need kindness, they need love, right? They need that. Humans need humans. That's what I would say I hope people walk away from with this. Regardless of how the other person looks, sounds, dresses, is built, people need people. That is how we save each other.
Yes.
There's a lot of it, and hopefully if you can take one thing from it, I would say take that. Yeah, hold that.
Do you mind if we take maybe 3 questions from audience members, Johnathan?
If there's 3 questions out there, sure.
If there's about the movie, I know we have questions, so we're gonna talk about magazine dreams. I see red hair up there, ginger hairs. You stand up and speak straight from your gut.
Hi, my name is Sai. Congratulations on the marriage, by the way.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask if you could touch on the character and his experience with his race and how that is important in the story and how that adds another layer to his struggle. Could you touch on that, please?
I'll touch it, yeah, for sure. One of the interesting things about that is,
Great question.
yeah, great question. Is that Killian, let's talk specifically with the counselor, right? Incredible performance from her. But what he's dealing with there is, look, every therapist is a great therapist, everything can help, but there are certain situations, for Killian specifically, right? There is no question that his race was a huge component of how he was moving through the world. It is for everybody, right? Every race has their own thing to deal with, but specifically as black men, right? Especially as large black men, there is a certain there's a stereotype, right? Scary black man, right? Big scary black man, right? Big, yes. That's the world we live in, right? Now, yeah, I'll stand on that. Yeah. That said, he's a pariah in those moments, right? In the place where he's trying to get the most help, there's a certain psychology, right? There's a certain psychology that he has. There's a certain understanding he has of who he is in the world that is not being mirrored back to him, right? She does an excellent job, right? But to heal somebody, it does help to have some type of context, right? And Killian doesn't even express that. He didn't even say, "Oh, I'm black and it's hard." You know what I mean? It's so real for him. He's so in it. He's not saying bullets are coming. He's saying I'm in war. You know what I mean? So yeah, moving through the space in that way. You know, the moment where he's in the He's stocking, I'm at a grocery store, Killian's at the grocery store, and he's stocking his stuff, and he can feel the fear, you know what I mean? He can feel the fear. That's very difficult to handle, you know, and he moves through that. And we catch him in the picture at, I was 33, right? I was 32, so let's just say he's a little younger than I, right? So he's 30, 29 maybe, right? Quite difficult. And he's got 29 years of living that way, you know, in that way. It's a unique experience, and every race, every gender has it, right? But particularly for this picture, that is a huge component, you know, it's a huge component. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not picking, I'm not getting in
There's a gentleman right here in the gray shirt. If you stand up, sir.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, I have a couple thoughts.
You got thoughts or you got questions?
I was gonna say, like, I thought it was interesting that he
What's
used,
your name, brother?
Jacob.
Jacob.
I thought it was interesting that he used, like, both VHS tapes, like, his form of using, like, content or media was both, like, VHS tapes, or, like, old WWE reruns in his head,
Right.
and then, like, the internet, and the internet provided some form of community for him.
Right.
I just, like, thought, what do you think it was quite intentional to have that, like, juxtaposition of, like, the old and the new with, like, media he consumed? And, yeah, like, wouldn't he have gotten some kind of community from the internet, even if it was negative, and that was what he was looking for in some capacity, was attention?
Where you going? Jerry, where you going?
I just want to say hi, Joe.
Jacob, that's a great question. So the psychology of this man is very interesting. I'm sure you're aware, but there's an idea of arrested development, right? And with arrested development, you're attached to things that you had in the moment as you were frozen, right? And so as you heard in the picture, his parents passed the way they passed when he's a young boy, right? He's frozen there, right? If he was to freeze me at 9 years old, you too would see that my way of consuming things would be VHS, cassettes, this and this, right? All these things are to give him comfort, right? All these things are to remind him, and that's how he steps into the internet and YouTube and the Google thing. You can't really Google how to make friends. You probably AI that these days, but Googling that is crazy. You know what I mean? It's like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? It's new to him, right? That's him trying to make another connection, the internet and YouTube, right? Those things are characters just like Haley Bennett's character or Taylor Page's character, right? He's trying to connect her, and just like he does with Haley Bennett and Taylor's characters, he fails. So that's why I think that's that. And also, I know Ryan wanted to have this timeless feeling to it, right? This is a picture that happens all the time and never, everywhere and nowhere, right? So everybody can relate to it, regardless of which country they grew up in, their race, their creed, their build, their size. There's a lot of things to that. And so by giving it that almost fairy tale continuity, right, it allows people to kind of connect to it. At least that's what I thought he was trying to do.
It was great.
Thank you, Jay.
I gotta get to my. Sure, all the way back there with the black on. Hi. Yes. You, yes.
Hey, my name's Elijah. I just want to say first and foremost, massive fan of your craft. I've seen you since like the last Black Man in San Francisco. Be a monolith and then be so tender and sensitive. And if I'm being honest, the movie was great. I didn't know what I stepped into. Very nervous, my heart kind of hurt. I just wanted to ask, was there any type of intention in like embodying like a Paul Schrader type of character, like Taxi Driver, Travis Bickle? Like that's what I was kind of getting, like a bunch of that, but in a way that was like a bit more nuanced, because it wasn't really a happy ending per se. It was just more of like some form of enlightenment, some form of self-fulfillment that you like could capture. I just want to know if any intention like that was in mind.
Brilliant. So, I mean, we're all here at AMC on a Thursday, so we all know Taxi Driver, right?
Yes.
So we're talking about Bobby's performance, right, which is crazy, right? I'll be 110% real with you. There was a moment where I looked over at Elijah and said, "Hey, bro, you know what you're doing?" You know what I mean? I was like, I'm reading this, and I said, "If we're not doing this, bro, we're not going to do this thing." You know, because people were like, "Oh, it's Taxi Driver." I was like, "It's not Taxi Driver, it's Killian Maddox." You know what I mean? So what are you going to do now? So what you're talking about is a bit of an incel, right? And this is how I broke it down, how we broke it down together, right? The archetypes, right? You got the rebel, the incel, the outcast, and the pariah, right? All these things are archetypes that are shared between Killian and the Taxi Driver. So those things are honest and real and true, and you're right to see those things. So yeah, they do share archetypes. Though, as you said, you know, Killian is a bit different. You know, he's he's just a special guy, I think.
Thank you. We're gonna do one more. One more. All right, stand up, sir.
My name is Derek. How you doing? I got a compliment and a question. Compliment first of all. The amount of times that there were moments where you didn't speak were equally or more impactful than when you did.
Yes, absolutely.
Question I have is, I know that you don't shoot linear. Okay, there was a myriad of emotions and roller coaster emotions on this one. When you go to shoot and you have a different emotion each day, did you do the preparation before? How did you prep for those emotions today? One day you were getting beat up, but I know you shot more that day, so you had to have the emotion of getting fighting, but also the emotion of going to the stage. Was there preparation in between there? Was that beforehand? How did you prep to be able to maneuver between all those emotions? And beautiful emotions too, by the way.
Thank you, brother. Tell me your name
My
again.
name is Derek.
Derek.
And those scenes are not shot in order.
Not linear, no.
Right.
They're not linear, so
It's kind of like this. It's like when I get off the plane, right? This is not a plane we shot in LA, and I have to be living there. But the second they tell me you got a go date, right? I begin to cook up the whole guy, right? And so, I mean, this may not be you may not want to hear this answer, but I say the answer, right? Like the answer is, I just go, right? I just go. As soon as, I like that. I like the idea of like, okay, we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go here. It reminds me of drama school. Specifically, it reminds me of clown, right? So, in all of my training, I feel like I'm teaching. I'm sorry, you know, it's like, but in my training, like clown is such a big thing. And what is clown? Clown is everybody's 9-year-old unsocialized angel, right? My daughter was 12 years old. I got an nephew that's like 8. I watch these crazy people, right, go up, down, left, right, boom, 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 like that, right? That's the beauty of being an actor, right? Where you can, if you cook it right, if you invest in it right, if you give yourself to it, if you spend those late nights, if you go back and you think about that really hard thing, and you put it on the page, you put it on the screen, you can just move, right? You can just move, just be present, you know? So, yeah, there's preparation. Like, for instance, I'm doing this scene, I've got on, I always know how it starts. I never know how it finishes, but I know how it starts. This is what's being called for. And so if I got that in the morning, and I got lunch, and I got this, I know, okay, cool, if I got this in the morning, it's supposed to be jolly and drive forward, right? The angel of ecstasy, joy. I'm gonna be right with that in the morning, right? And that's the about emotion. Once you open it up, it's like a horror film. You watch a horror film, you're like, oh my God, I'm terrified. And then you're laughing. And then you're scared again. And then you're angry. And then you're sad. Right? All these things happen when you genuinely like the pilot of your humanity, you know, and play the given circumstance. Are you an actor? Yeah, I'm talking about you, right? That's how you can do it. You know, it won't hit every time when you want to at first, but you practice it, right? We as human beings and we as actors can never show ourselves off. You do yourself and everybody around you a service, right? So I think with killing, it's the same thing. You know, I put it all on paper, I pray to God, oh Lord, please let this work. You know, please let it work. You know what I mean? I relax, and I go. I mean, there's no magic to it. It's just working God. And God is bigger than magic.
just before you leave, because we gotta let Mr. Majors is spending his honeymoon, he and his wife with us right now. So we gotta let you go. You know, you were talking about when you Google, you know, how do you make people remember you? Not as Killian, but as Johnathan Majors. What do you want your legacy to be, Johnathan?
See, I just say the best for last. You go. You know, the best feeling you guys had when you were watching that movie, whatever the good one was, whatever that feeling was, and I hope you had something. That's it. I just want people to walk around with that, just that feeling of Something is possible, you know. I can do something, you know. I just want to encourage him. I just want people to think, oh, Johnny made it. Yeah, we did that, it would be nice to hear. But I would much like to hear, he made me feel something, that made me do something better.
If y'all give a hand to Johnathan Major. The movie's being released, is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow, in like 5 hours. Yeah, please check it out. Well, you already did. Please tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. We need y'all. Appreciate it.
And y'all, we gotta show Hollywood what we can do, the power that we have with our dollar. So please go and tell your family, your friends, your cousin them, your auntie, everybody. Please, we encourage you, go and see, go and tell everybody. Magazine Dreams, and this is Johnathan Major. Woo!